Welcome back. Good to see you again. WeArEuS and this. This is that feeling when you launch Elden Ring. You load and or continue from where you left off last time, and you enter the game, and you get that pop-up. Frame rate is unacceptable for online play, and you're booted back to the title screen, where you are then told again that your frame rates are too terrible for online play, preventing you from doing anything else other than closing the game, which you have to do by Alt F4ing or exiting to or switching tabs to Steam, and then clicking stop on the game's page. This is Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. We are back here. I've killed this guy again. It was actually pretty easy. I started the fight off with land, kept everybody away from him, except for like Sela and Aivu, who were there just as bait, just in case. He never got the opportunity to use his rage spell, I guess it is. So I don't know if I actually have abilities that can, resist it or cure it or anything, because he just land tore him a new one. He crit him for about three. No. I think he only crit the one time, but he hit him every single time except for like once. And he didn't even use all of his attacks for his full attack. So he crit him. The final crit that killed him was for 208 plus like 50 on the secondary hit, which I think comes from some piece of gear that gives him bludgeoning damage when he lands an attack. So he ultimately got hit for about 259 damage on a crit. It was a good time. And he couldn't do anything. It was so good. So we are back here. I'm still holding the controller. Okay, so we're back here where I'm guessing the Citadel is this way, and the plaza where we entered the Fane is here. I can only imagine what's waiting for us as we enter. So let's find out. Imagine no more. Reality. That's what we want. They sort of ruined my freaking floor, didn't they? Alright, so where did I leave off? Right, I was talking about they messed up the floors in my house. Look at this. Look what they've done to my boy. Or did I do that when I went to the Fane? I don't know. I'm blaming it on demons, and you can't stop me. What if we go this way? I know they said they cleared out the... what's-its-face? Oh, we can't even go up there. That seems fair.
Godspeed.
We don't do shadows in my house. So, I guess we have no option but to go in. This is going to be a good time. We have to summon more treants. Remind me that we need to do that once we go inside. I was expecting a loading screen, but this place isn't particularly... Oh, there's definitely going to be a fight in here, huh? Okay. So let's summon the treants now.
Soot is restless. I wonder why.
I was thinking of summoning a boogeyman too, but then that's an entire other separate action, so
Let us not hesitate.
let's make sure he's got them. Yeah. Mr. Head can summon too, but he can't do it while Seal is doing it. Aivu, please. Just summon it, please.
Rules are made to be broken.
Azadas, red caps. It's not like any of them are actually going to be useful. Not even the boogeyman. I'm going to do that just to be safe. And I guess some soul eaters, because why not? Okay, this is the part where we approach carefully. Let's make sure we quick save on top of that. What? Wait, what do you mean I can't give the stuff to Helor? Wait, what? No, hold on. No, you're not about to fail me because you didn't... No. We're not dealing with that. Okay, first things first. He's in the dungeons. Where are those? So Helor's in the dungeons. Where are those? That's where. That's where we came in. That's where she took us. Wow. We made it all the way over there, but somehow skipped this. Good lord. What's this? Also, Morrow's riding Aivu. This may cause us problems in an upcoming fight, but we won't know until we try. Like, it just sort of turns black there. I don't see. So where are we supposed to go? I can't even. Here, maybe? Possibly. We better summon things just to be safe. Better some than none.
Godspeed.
Yeah, I better save. Who knows what kind of a mess this is going to turn into. Yep. Babao. And then something back there. What if I don't like you? I was supposed to use charge. I cannot be bothered to remember that I want to use that. Does he have anything that'll be useful? I guess this. Bugs are always useful. And sometimes they even get their turn immediately. That's selective and bolstered, but okay. I'd rather her use fire since she gets bonuses from that. Flame Strike would tear these guys a new one, just easy as anything, but I really would like to be able to use Rift of Ruin, like, ever, but for whatever reason, I just can never find an opportunity to do so. We're mostly worried about the Butcher and then these guys back here. Of freezing air, you must succeed. Really? But we have electricity, so what else does she have in here? I could use confusion. I think their stats are low enough for that. Does she have it? Not from the looks of it. Willpower. Good. The spider swarm can't be. Well, it was worth a try. Literally only the one Babao was confused. This. We can move Aivu in here. Oh, and because we killed the spider swarms, which should be a centipede swarm, let's be clear, they spawn big spiders, which once killed will spawn more spiders. It's a great time all around. Oh, that was a swift, so we get another one. What about a plain old flame strike? Aivu, do you have anything to say to them? Actually, she should be able to I was going to say flame breath, but she doesn't have flame breath. Look at that. 2 in 1. That's pretty good. Hey, they did a damage. What's our corruption look like? There is none. So we'll leave whatever this is for now. And we'll take what they have. Because we can. Also known as the rule of you keep what you kill. I missed that movie. Okay, so Helor is going to be down here somewhere, and once we talk to him and give him the thingamabob about the... Helor the Pathfinder salutes you. Commander, you've risen from the dead after all, and not a minute too soon. I suppose that means I owe Anevia money now. I've never been so happy to lose a bet in my entire life. You bet that I wouldn't come back. Why? Helor looks at you guiltily and shrugs. Truth be told, Commander, I'm a practical man, and I never count on miracles. I don't know why I pronounced it like that, but let's keep going. That doesn't mean I'm not happy to see you. On the contrary, I suppose a miracle you don't expect brings you the most joy, especially if it saves you from certain death. I know they moved the prisoners, so it's time to move. Right you are, Commander. It is time for drastic measures. Can I talk to him before he goes so I can give him the thing? I'll take it all and sell it. Crap. Well, oh. Wait. Ooh, and now we have everything we need to restore that helmet. Nice. Now we can head off to the Citadel. Citadel map. Oh, boy. That's a heck of a walk. I still don't know about having... Who did we just pass? Who are these people? You.
No reason to pause.
Oh, Crusaders. Oh, curious. Oh, a noble. Just chilling out, praying to the stone, I guess. Oh boy, oh boy. So, I want to make sure that there's nothing else going on inside the Citadel before we actually talk to the storyteller, who we're almost certainly not going to be able to get our stuff from, because why would we? But at the very least, I can have Sela do this. Let's go ahead and quick save just to be safe. Let's summon the Great Land. No.
Doubt is the heart's greatest
Stop that.
challenge.
Ooh, and another. Oh, you shouldn't have. I don't think there's anything else going on in here, so let's quick save. talk to the teller of stories.
We march ahead.
The storyteller turns to you calmly. Long months have passed, Commander. But even while you were away on the other plane, I could hear your brave heart beating. That sound never stopped for a second. He's right, I didn't die. Of course, I also possess the power of saving and loading, so, you know, if it ever did actually go down, like, well, we still didn't die, though. Like, ever. So he's right. Finian the talking weapon. I don't know why. Whatever. Finian laughs. You're a lively one, Grandpa Elf. Always finding yourself in the most dangerous spots, but I'm glad to see you. Although you'd be safer tucked up by a fire somewhere. How have things been these past 6 months, as despite the fact that we already know? The Queen showed us nothing but respect and fair treatment. Ah. Frankly, I was hoping for more excuses to... Well, never mind. After she decided to proceed with the crusade, many of us chose to stay with the unit in order to protect the Wardstone until your return. It was an easier decision for me than for others. I had encountered you in the Abyss and I knew you were alive, but not everyone believed me. And then yesterday I had a vision. I was leafing through the pages that you had collected for me, and suddenly I saw the future. Not the future clamoring to be told by the page in my hand, but your future. The future of the person who first brought that page to me. In my vision, you returned from the Abyss marked by new powers that wound around you like snakes. Your voice made the earth tremble. People and the demons dropped to their knees, and Iomadae herself extended you a helping hand. But the only thing you were concerned with was the whereabouts of the banner that Queen Galfrey had taken with her. The storyteller shakes his head. I know what I saw is difficult to believe, but I am in the habit of trusting my visions, so I hurried to the Citadel to lay my hands on some of Queen Galfrey's possessions and try to discern where she went and where your banner is now. So, do you know where the Queen went? It wasn't easy. I see the Queen's future and her past as if looking through shattered glass. Multiple visions come one after another, distorting the picture. The Queen is in mortal danger at the crossroads of her fate, and her every step may prove fatal. But I did not give up, and fortune smiled upon me. I touched her goblet and learned where she was leading her army. Her Majesty decided to march for eyes, a bold move, one worthy of a queen who was not accustomed to hiding. My, that was indeed a bold move for my dear cousin, no doubt about it. As bold as stepping into a volcano. I guess we can have him do it, since voicing the storyteller isn't all that tough. Oh, eyes! The city that hangs over the abyss. It was once the city of the citadel of legendary rulers, the capital of Sarkoris, but now demons are tearing it apart, making a mockery of its former glory. 2/3 of its magnificent streets and proud towers have collapsed into the world wound, but the city still holds on, just as Sarkoris holds on, defeated but refusing to die. It's time for the final battle of Dresden. Again. The storyteller nods. Yes, your arrival has changed everything. Attacked by 2 armies, we felt like a dilapidated palisade on the verge of being swept away by a giant wave, but with your return, we have become an indestructible wall that will withstand any blow. One more thing. The storyteller pauses for a while. In the shattered fragments that form her fate, I can sense your presence, and I am convinced that the Queen could sense it too. No one can say what your next encounter will lead to, but there's one thing I know for certain. Queen Galfrey's fate and yours are tightly intertwined. Great, so I'm just going to be ushered along rather than getting to talk to what's-his-face. And then we have the babies here whining that they won't be able to... Orangofta. This is one of them, one of the demons that had Dresden caught in the pincer maneuver, which is fine. At least I don't have to go looking for him. A huge oily Nalfeshni is waiting for you with his arms folded.
Here comes the commander, kids. So, Commander, do you like what you see? You've arrived just in time to hear your friends screaming for help. We trusted you, and look what's happened to them. Do you actually think you can rescue them? Who do you think you are?
Oh, this is also the other one, Aponavicius. It's this one. Pretty sure it's centered on her, so yeah. You shouldn't have angered our master, mortal. He will take away everything you have, your mind and your flesh included. You belong to him now. I'm curious. Who sent this army here?
We all serve our master Baphomet, Lord of the Labyrinth. He promised us Dresden, and your skin as a doormat.
The Marilith adds with a smug grin. You'll only get Dresden, Orangofta. The skin is mine and mine only. It will look splendid in my chambers in the ineluctable prison. I'll do what that idiot Minago failed to accomplish. I'll destroy the World Stone as you watch, little commander, and then I'll admire the despair frozen on your face forever. No. No, you won't. Fighters of Dresden, don't give up.
You really believe they can hear you? All your pathetic attempts to win turn to ashes. Don't you see? And this is the great hero everyone is so afraid of. Come on, show us what you've got.
Earn the right to become my plaything, or die alone and forgotten in an unmarked cell.
What are you waiting for, huh? Can't you hear them screaming? Why aren't you rushing to help them? Oh, right, you can't. You're just some mortal insect that bit off more than it could chew. You're nobody.
Yes, I'm mortal. I'm the commander of the 5th Crusade, but this is my people, my city, and my destiny. The demon seems to want to say something else, but then just waves his huge claw.
Whatever. Let's see how you taste, Commander.
And we've got reinforcements from the rear. Can't hate that. Wait, I don't even get XP? Do I at least get gear? Well, I mean loot? I mean, yay! We have freed Dresden. What? Am I to understand this is Iomadae? An incredible silence suddenly descends over the city. It is broken by the solemn sound of fanfares that seem to come from far away, everywhere and nowhere all at once. All eyes are turned to the huge stained glass window of the city's main cathedral. It begins to glow with a soft light, and in the next breath a lone figure steps out of the glass onto the cobblestones of Dresden.
Knight Commander, at last we meet.
Oh, I really wish I could. But I'm not about to. Like, why would I be impressed about her? Gods don't often descend to our worlds.
They rarely have good reason to. I suppose you're asking yourself why I am here. Gods must not interfere directly in the affairs of mortals. But what is happening here, in the World Wound, is no longer the concern of mortals alone.
I can't wait to find out how things have suddenly changed so much that now she feels like she should get involved. Whereas mere months ago, not just for hundreds of years, it's been a losing battle. And was about as grim as it could get once Descari attacked, what's the name of that place? I forgot. So, why are you here? Why would she be here now?
Goodness and the light of hope are not unknown to you, but you mix them with recklessness. And the power that feeds this recklessness is dangerous. I have seen what happened here in Dresden. Despite everything that you have endured, despite the changes you underwent in the Abyss, you relied on your humanity, and you won without losing it. I salute you.
I'm going to assume her use of the word humanity is a broad term given what Morrow actually is. And we're not talking about, like, fundamentally how he came to be. We're talking about just the surface stuff, him being a kitsune, or however they wish to pronounce it in this particular universe.
I wish to stop the forces of evil and defend Golarion, both from Descari's violent rage and from Nocticula's insidiousness. But that is not my only goal. I have come here to restore justice, for justice is the birthright of all. That's why I hail you as a hero who has triumphed over the demons many times.
What else is new?
At the same time, I grieve for you, as for a soul that is caught in a web of demonic deceit and villainy.
Such heartwarming concern for me. Now let's be honest, what is your real reason for coming here?
My reasons are as I have told you. I am no demon. I do not lie and cheat. Of that sin I am most certainly innocent.
I never said you lied. I just said you're beating around the bush. And you still are.
In that moment, when my poor herald was being torn apart by monsters, he found the strength to send me a message about what he had learned in the Abyss. You were in Elutionera, where you spoke with the Lady in Shadow and the Architect of the World Wound. They confessed what they had done to you, but they did not reveal the whole truth.
Surprise, surprise.
Both you and this unfortunate world will have to pay dearly for the power that they so generously bestowed upon you. But all is not yet lost. That is why I have come.
The walls of Dresden shake again, and with a ringing laugh, a black shadow appears before the shining goddess. Nocticula in the flesh, no less. And standing beside her is a Relu Forlesh who stares at the goddess with ice-cold rage in her eyes.
Who here has been taking my name in vain? Ah, it's you, the Inheritor. What's this? Our worst fears have come to pass. The gods are flocking to Golarion. This merry little tinderbox could ignite at any moment, reducing the material plane to dust.
I did not come here to fight.
Of course not. That would mean you would actually have to do something useful for a change.
Oh, really? I didn't realize you were good for anything else. Forgive me, that was unfair of me. Judging by your successes over the last 100 years, fighting is not your forte. After all, the wound is still there, as far as I know. So why are you here? If you have come to meddle in my affairs, don't expect me simply to stand aside.
Well, this party's really getting started now. Who will be next to arrive? Kate and Kalian, perhaps?
The two of us will be more than enough. Listen to what I have to tell you. If she wishes to be present for this conversation, so much the better.
Okay.
Do you hear me, Nocticula? You and your servant are under no obligation to leave. I have come here to shed the light of truth. Let us see if you both can withstand its merciless radiance. I cannot change the flow of mortal history by force. After all, the world wound is their doing, although committed at the behest of the Abyss. But sometimes force is unnecessary, and truthful words are all it takes.
The goddess who was mortal not so long ago is eager to judge us for our sins now. My sin, to be precise. What lies behind your eagerness, proud Iomadae? Righteous wrath?
They said the
Or
title.
perhaps
They said the title.
Watch out. A simple mortal woman has learned how to grant powers to others. Powers which are beyond the wildest dreams of many Imperial lords. This must be stopped, forbidden, taken away immediately. After all, what need will we have for all these arrogant gods once we become their equals?
She's not wrong, but she's also not right.
Silence. It's impolite to interrupt your elders. But you know, Inheritor, she does have a point. What are you going to do now? Break my weapon, which has made so many victories possible, and only because he received that weapon from my profane hands, and the entire affair must therefore be profane also? What real reasons do you have? Save those born of your envy, your capriciousness, and your suspicions?
My reasons are quite real, as you well know. That is why you appeared here in such haste, is it not? You have woven a delicate lace of half-truths, Nocticula. From you and your servant, the Knight Commander has learned that he is bound to the world wound, that he is slowly dying because of its influence, and that he is yet capable of closing it. But you withheld a crucial piece of information. You never told him that closing the wound won't save him from death. For this lock will destroy the key to which it is bound. The one who closes the world wound will die along with it.
I'm sorry, but this is not surprising information at all. I was never told in the first place what would happen after I closed it, so naturally I only assumed they were hiding that I would die as well. I'm not surprised. I appreciate the honesty, but it's also a manipulation, in a sense.
That is true. I tried to tell you back in Illusionera, but I was not allowed to. It is an unavoidable consequence of this process. To stitch two planes together as I have stitched Galarian and the Abyss, the soul of a mortal must be woven with the essence of the Abyss. To undo this seam, the original soul, the key, must be ripped apart. No one could survive such a process.
I think I was going to go with the sixth option first, but I think that'll end the entire thing. So, since it's voice acted, I may as well go with all of the options. If, as soon as I encounter one that's not voice acted, I'm moving on. So, first up. In other words, I'll die if I don't close the wound, and I'll die if I do close it.
It is true. Now do you see the perils of accepting a demonic gift? No matter how much power the Abyss gives you, that power will always be tainted by lies and misfortune. This is the justice I promised you. The right to know the whole truth, and not to be a plaything in the hands of abyssal spawn.
And Nocticula, you are trying to hide this information from me.
Trying, you say? I successfully hid the truth from you for as long as I deemed necessary. Are you expecting me to explain myself? My goal is to close the world wound, not to grant you a happily ever after.
Well, in for a penny. What if I reject this power?
You will live.
You will lose everything that makes life worth living.
You're not doing yourself any favors saying something like that.
You will spoil a brilliant endeavor and destroy the lives of thousands of mortals who will be devoured by the legions of demons coming from the abyss. Aside from that, you won't do anything extraordinary at all.
Now, what if I'm willing to sacrifice my life if it means closing the world wound?
Oh, how noble! For a brief moment, I even felt some regret that we demons are incapable of such lovely things. You see now, Inheritor? My little protege has more nobility in him than you expected. Shame on you.
Whoa, I didn't say I was going to do it. I just said I'm of a mind to do it. Those aren't the same things.
This nobility is exactly why I came here. To help the Knight Commander learn the truth, and to show him that he has been used. Besides, I do not believe that you have been acting for selfless reasons, Lady in Shadow. Honesty and nobility have never counted among your virtues. You own the main source of Nahindrian crystals, and your servant Aurilu has learned how to break the laws of the universe with their help. Can it be that the ruler of darkness and mistress of assassins has not conceived a way to use this formidable gift for her own benefit?
Accusations, suspicions, all completely hollow, just like your bright-eyed pretty little head. It's a pity you inherited Eridan's sword, but not his sharp mind. I have but one goal now. To stop the armies of that lecherous billygoat and that gluttonous bug from strutting around my domain as if it were their own. I don't give a fig whether it will help mortals or hurt them. If the enemy of your enemy makes you a mutually beneficial proposition, you would have to be a complete idiot to say no.
I'm not all that fond of having Iomadae touch me, much less deep down inside where the sticky stuff is, but I'm curious. Goddess, can you help me cleanse my soul of the influence of the Abyss?
Aurilu has planted a piece of the Abyss itself in your soul. The only thing that can cleanse the soul of such a taint is that same soul. But I will be near. I will show you how to root out the demonic corruption. I am not a demon, and I do not offer any simple solutions. You will have to go your own way, no matter where it leads.
Great, now that song is in my head. I didn't need that. I didn't ask for this. But now it's playing in my head, in the background. It's back there. Every once in a while it grows a little louder, but then it goes quiet. Sort of like background music. But I don't want it there. I don't. Well, now I'm finally starting to understand the rules of this game. He broke the fourth wall almost.
Yes. The power that Nahindrian crystals grant you will bring about nothing but your own demise. The branches of the Tree of Sin are vast and verdant, but its only fruit is death. You will not be able to save yourself unless you reject everything that has been foisted upon you. Now you know everything.
So, sort of like I've been doing this entire time, rejecting every single offer that she's given me for power, but still getting power nonetheless. I suppose that's why she found it so interesting when it happened. Interesting indeed.
No, we're not quite finished with the revelations yet. Few secrets remain to be revealed, but they will be worth the wait.
I mean, I like foreplay and all, but not if it means like actually waiting. It's like a snack before a big meal. It's never that big, but it's always just enough to tide you over until you get to the good stuff. Not a fan of this, though.
Does this look familiar? Do you remember the similar wound above your own heart? I have given you enough hints. Come on, ask me the question I have been waiting for.
Curious, I want to read this out. With the flick of the witch's wrist, something changes in her as if a veil has fallen. One so thin that it was almost invisible, but which had clouded your vision nonetheless. But now you see what was hidden before, a deep, open wound above Aurelu's heart. The wound pulsates as blood drips from it. Since we already passed the Arcana check, I received my wound because of you, Aurelu, and planted the set. Wait, I read that wrong. I received my wound because you, Aurelu, implanted the essence of the abyss in my soul when you expanded the world wound. My question is, why do you have a similar wound? Could it be because you used your own soul as a key when you first opened the world wound?
That's right. And this means that the world wound actually has 2 keys.
Well, I mean, that's better than 2 chains.
Good question. Just imagine. I have wasted so much time chasing the key to the world wound, and the key was right under my nose this whole time. Aurelu, my love, come over here.
Looks like that's a no. Aurelu does not look like someone who has been cornered. Without a trace of fear, she gives you a faint nod and then makes a barely discernible gesture with her hand and disappears as if she were never there.
Wait, I said wait! That little bitch. I knew she would betray me sooner or later, but I never expected such an idiotic stunt. But everything seems to be falling into place quite nicely. You see, you don't have to die after all. Aurelu opened the world wound, and Aurelu will be the one who closes it, whether she likes it or not. Although, someone will need to catch her first, and this will require certain powers.
Yes, Aurelu WeArEuS will pay for her crimes with her life. Her flight confirms that our suppositions were correct. But now we know that the world wound can be sealed with her blood. You have no reasons to remain indebted to the Abyss and indulge the Queen of the Succubi. Reject her gift and secure your victory while being the person you were before Aurelu WeArEuS corrupted you. Win as a mortal and become a legend among mortals.
Is it bad that I've just, as she's been yapping over there in the corner, that I've just been watching my butterflies flutter around? They're very nice. I wish there was a little bit of red in there, but I mean, you get what you get, I guess.
She's talking rubbish. True, we gave you the power, but it was you who chose how to wield it. It belongs to you, and it will remain yours, so you can do whatever you want with it. But first, you must use it to close the world wound. You aren't going to catch this world's most powerful witch, and a half-demon one at that, with your bare hands, are you?
Both the goddess and the demon lord stare at you expectantly. I mean, I'm fully willing to ask them more questions, because as long as it's voice acted, it's free money, baby. But if I have to speak for them at any point, I am done. So I guess we'll start by asking Iomadae some questions.
Ask, and you shall have your answers.
There are 9 questions here. Alright. You gained your own power from the Starstone. How is my power any different?
My ascension was not accomplished in one day, and even the test of the Starstone was only one of its stages. I did not merely gain power, I embraced a sacred duty. Your power, on the other hand, stems not from long hours of study, not from trials. It is not the natural talent you were born with and carefully honed throughout your life. It is the result of an evil soul's deranged experiment with the blood of dead abyssal lords.
I don't know, guys, but to me that sounds a little like jealousy. You became this powerful and you didn't even have to do anything. I killed hundreds of demons. I died so many times and nobody knows about it because I possess the power of saving and loading. But I don't get any credit for that, do I? No, it's all the power's doing. Of course, and the companions that I chose along the way who happen to still be stronger than Morrow actually is, which is kind of frustrating. But that's partly my own fault since I sort of built him poorly. Whatever. The point is, she sounds pretty jealous. We already know why she did that to the angels. They aren't particularly happy about it. I want to see if going with this question will open up a secondary comment on the fact that the angels themselves are losing their fricking minds while being trapped in the ward stones. So, you imprisoned entire hosts of angels inside the ward stones. Why?
Every one of my angels volunteered for that mission. They all knew what kind of watch they were going to keep. They knew that it would be a hard and exhausting battle, but that the lives of mortals throughout Golarion would depend on it. Alas, angels' minds can be as fragile as the minds of mortals. In less than 100 years, many wavered and wished to break the oath they had sworn. I do not blame them. I blame myself for allowing them to take on a burden that was too heavy for them.
Okay. Something about that response rubs me the wrong way, but I can't quite put it into words. Did you send your herald to follow me to the abyss, or did he go of his own free will?
He acted on his own noble impulse, and I did not stop him. I also did not try to dispel his misconception about you being my chosen one. I do not lie, but both celestial beings and mortals can be mistaken.
That doesn't make it right.
She doesn't lie, sure. She merely withholds some of the truth. For the noblest of reasons, of course.
Of course. Do you know what happened to your herald as a result of you allowing him to believe a half-truth?
My herald, my loyal companion, was captured, and now demons are using him to attack Dresden. They are holding him in the Ivory Labyrinth, Baphomet's realm of the Abyss. It is a place I cannot go, not even to save my faithful friend. For doing so would start an interplanar war. Right now, as we speak, Baphomet's servants are torturing the hand of the Inheritor. Tormented and anguished, he reaches for you with his thoughts and his soul. I cannot tell if he sees you as a great unfulfilled hope or a last chance, but Baphomet knows well how to exploit such desperate yearning. He has turned my herald into a source of power to open temporary portals. They do not last long, but they lead from the dungeon where the hand of the Inheritor suffers, right to your doorstep. Baphomet does not need to lead his armies through the rifts. Now he can send them right here. As long as my poor herald remains in the hands of that monster, this will not stop. I cannot say if it is still possible to save him, or if putting him out of his misery is the only way. I cannot openly ask you to intervene. But if you decide to do so, you will be helping both yourself and the one who chose the martyr's path when he followed you into the abyss.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Anyway, ever since I acquired these powers, everyone has believed me to be your chosen, but why didn't you do anything to dispel this misunderstanding?
At first, I did not know who you were, or where your powers originated. This was revealed to me only when my herald offered up his dying prayer from the depths of the abyss. And following his desperate plea, I sought to confirm my suspicions. Until that point, I had observed you without intervening. After all, your crusade was securing victories, the first Golarion had seen in many years, so even if it was not I who had sent you into battle, it felt unfair to undermine you.
And that seems pretty convenient since you were getting glory out of it as well, when you had absolutely nothing to do with it, in fact.
In other words, our Imperial guest had no problem with your power, as long as she didn't know where it came from. She didn't even share her suspicions with her own herald. And after all that, someone dares to claim that demons are the most deceitful creatures?
No, she says demons lie. She never said anything about deceit. She was very, very particular about avoiding that word.
You should not blame someone else if you base your accusations on vague suspicions rather than solid proof. You call my behavior deceitful. You, of all creatures, who kept the commander ignorant of the fate you had chosen for him? Indeed, the insolence of demons knows no bounds.
Not particularly concerned with number 6. Why did WeArEuS do everything possible to lead us to the idea that she was the key too?
The impulses that drive a soul as black as hers are beyond my comprehension. Perhaps she was startled by my arrival and decided not to bother keeping a secret that was bound to be revealed. Or perhaps she is up to some cunning scheme. Be on your guard. The architect of the world wound will surely try to bring you down. For if she truly is a key, then it must mean that she will die sooner or later due to the influence of her own horrible creation. And that means that sacrificing you is her only chance of survival.
That makes no sense. There would have been no reason for her to reveal that fact. She could have outright denied this. She could have outright denied the question I asked her, which she had been imploring me to ask in the first place. To me, it seems like she's trying to be more helpful than either of these two idiots. But to what end, I could not fathom.
It is time to make your decision then.
Nope, since you're willing to do all of this voice acting, I'm going to ask Nocticula some questions.
If you have questions, ask away.
Don't really care about number 1. Yeah, this seems as good a question as any. Now that we've decided to use WeArEuS to close the world wound, do you still want me to keep the powers I acquired from her?
Of course I do. Firstly, you'll need those powers to catch WeArEuS and bring her to Threshold. Surely you don't think she'll willingly fall into your hands, and the demonic hordes will politely make way for you. And secondly, the powers WeArEuS gave you protect you from dying before your time. None of us want the wound to kill you prematurely.
I appreciate just how honest her response feels, you know? When you're talking to Iomadae, it just feels like you need to watch her every word. A weird way of putting it, but so be it. And pay very specific attention to the way she speaks and what she says, what words she uses, to keep an eye out for any hidden meanings or missing meanings.
You are extremely useful to me alive. After all, if you let WeArEuS slip through your fingers, we can always go back to the original plan for closing the wound.
Let's go ahead and skip number 3. Where could WeArEuS have fled to?
No, let's think. She's hidden in the abyss before. She won't dare to return there now. Not only to my realm, but to any other either. Even if Baphomet and Discari both take it upon themselves to guard WeArEuS personally, that won't stop me from sneaking in, slitting her throat, and leaving undetected. And she knows that. If I were her, I would hide in a place where the powers of her enemies were uncertain, and her own power was close to unlimited. I say you should look for her here, in the World Wound.
Alright. And for the question among questions, do you really plan to use me to become a goddess yourself?
That is nothing but the wild speculation of a little girl who gained celestial power through no merit of her own, and now fears that others may do the same, forcing her to share her place in the spotlight. Do I want to become a goddess? Of course I do. Who wouldn't? Can you help me with that? Sadly, no. Of course, WeArEuS used to blather on about how her brilliant invention could bake gods like pies. But between you and me, the cleverer the inventor, the larger their ego becomes. So far, she hasn't managed to create anything stronger than you. And no offense, but you're no match for any deity.
Don't worry. I'm working on that.
Very well. It's time for you to make your decision then.
I'm curious if the companions are going to be voiced as well.
I hate it when they corner you and demand answers out of you. But fine, I'll tell you what I think. With you, I've always had my freedom, Chief, so I'll speak freely. Be who you are and don't count on gifts from nobody. You gave me the same advice back in Alishanira, remember? And I've never regretted following it. Maybe you won't have the powers you had before, but do you really need somebody's permission to do what you want to do? That's what it's all about.
Experience tells me that it's wiser to trust yourself and your own abilities. You can't trust what clients tell you. One day you're a hero, the next you're working for the enemy. Sorry, but it all looks like a setup to me. First they tell you to lay down your weapons, and then, once you're unarmed, they finish you off in some back alley.
And out of all of the people with us, like literally everyone, I have no idea why Greybor is even here, but we've got him too apparently. So out of everyone with us, literally 2 people had something to say about it.
I am waiting for your answer. I hope you will choose wisely.
Quite right. Make your choice, and make it the right one.
Oh, yes. Ooh, what's this? One doesn't need to be a mythic creature, an otherworldly being, or a deity's chosen to become a hero. This path may be grueling and full of temptation, but the mortal who treads it fully earns the right to call themselves a true legend. Or we can actually go with the gold dragon, which I've been working on this entire time, and it changes his eyes. Is that supposed to be a thing? God, I really want to go with Azada, but I've been working so hard to get Gold Dragon, so I'm going to go with that, but god dang. He does look spiffy, though. Like truly, truly spiffy. That is some nice outfit right there. But again, God, the Asada is so good. The gold dragon is a mighty, almost omnipotent creature that possesses powers beyond all others. The gold dragon is the embodiment of goodness, hope, and redemption. As for the mythic abilities, you gain the ability to breathe holy energy, attacking all enemies in a 50-foot cone, dealing character level plus half of your mythic rank times 8 holy damage. And unfortunately, a successful reflex saving throw halves the damage. And the difficulty class for that is 10 plus your character level, which is like 16 right now. Plus half of your mythic rank, which is going to be 8. So that's about 30. That's not good. Oh, I mean, it's fine, but it's not good enough. Any enemy hit by the breath attack also gains a -1 penalty on all d20 rolls, while all enemies who fail the reflex saving throw gain a -2 penalty. And I can use it once every 1 to 4 rounds. I can also assume the form of a gold dragon, gaining size bonus to strength, constitution. Ugh, stop doing that. Size bonus to strength, constitution, and natural armor. And blind sense within 60 feet. Meh. We also gain perfect body, which grants immunity to poison, disease, fear, confusion, paralysis, and sleep. As well as resistance to all energies equal to his character level plus half his mythic rank. So we're looking at about 20 energy resistance to all energy. And if any of my saving throws before modifiers is less than 5 plus your mythic rank, which is 8, I guess, so that's 13, you gain a bonus up to that. Holy crap. If any of your other attributes before modifiers is less than 14, you gain a bonus up to that number. Your highest ability score gets a +4 bonus. All your hit dice are now d12. Wait, is my hit die like right now 16 or 17? Any spells dealing damage now change their dice to d6 if it was not d6 or greater. If it was, the spell instead... there's a bit of a... The spell instead gets +1 bonus to damage per die, and all your weapons count as +5. God, I really love the Asada path. It's so good. And there's the Aeon one down here. I have no idea what the... Oh, right. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to go with Gold Dragon because why the frick not? So we get an epic, another mythic feat. I have no idea what. Can we get any useful spell-related stuff, maybe? I really do need to invest in these lesser ones like Iron Will, Lightning Reflexes, and Great Fortitude. I think I need to go with something more immediately valuable. Ascendant Summons I don't really care for. Seems like bait. favorite meta magic. Wait. This would be... Wait, we already have this. I literally already have this, don't I? I could have sworn I did. I don't use the transformation anymore because it interferes with one of the pieces of stuff I'm wearing. So I can't do that, but I could have sworn I already had that. The only thing I can think to go with is... Really wish I could reset this without having to install a mod. We only have Ascended Element for cold, so I guess we can do fire and then just use Flame Strike more and more. So we've got that from the thing, yeah. It ain't great, gotta be honest, but what can you do? The choice is made. All you have to do is announce it to everyone. I thank you both for your wise advice, but take a closer look at me, and you'll understand that I don't need it. A golden glow engulfs you. Metal scales appear on your knuckles. Fire erupts from your nostrils. With a shriek, Nocticula shields her eyes. Even Iomadae squints a little as she looks at you. It's been 2 days, apparently. Also, it occurred to me during the loading screen, which was actually very short, I'm hoping there's not an alignment requirement to maintain the ability to put points into, what's-its-face, the Golden Dragon Path, because very little frustrates me more than being alignment cock-blocked. But apparently everything is back to normal, aside from my floors. Will somebody please think of the floors?
A rest would be welcome.
Oh. Stop whining, you baby. Now, Nevia's clothes are dirty and her face and hands are smeared with dust. She uses the broom she's holding to offer you a cheery salute. Nothing to it. A couple days in the city's good as new. The streets have been cleaned and all the ashes left from the demons have been swept away, and we've patched up the fortifications. We got guards on the walls and you in charge. It's almost like the good old days. Except for the whole demons can teleport into the city. But let's ignore that for now. Speaking of good old days, you were only gone 6 months, but right now it feels like decades have passed. Life in Canabras before Discari's attack feels like ancient history. Innocent days when we were all worried about when all we were worried about were some demons and cultists here and there, not demon lords and deities vying to pay us a visit. So, what's the situation at the front? Unknown. Her Majesty's mustered all the troops she could, raised the Sword of Valor, and advanced on the demons. There's been no word of her since she left. Perhaps she's boldly taking eyes even now. Maybe her bones have already been picked clean by demons. We don't know, and I doubt anybody except you will be able to find out. But that's not all. Baphomet's minions keep taking swipes at us. The scumbags are holed up somewhere. The Ivory Labyrinth, I'll bet. And they keep opening portals in different spots, dropping off a dozen units, and then closing the portal before we can get to them. We lost more scouts than I'd care to admit before we figured out how they were pulling off that little trick. So here's what I'm thinking. Maybe you could get to one of those portals in time. You could be ready for them somehow, so that when one opens, you get inside and crack some skulls. They might even be holding the poor Herald in there. If he's alive, you can free him. Let's not get ahead of ourselves on that front. How do you feel after seeing the goddess in the flesh? My ears are still ringing from those trumpets. After witnessing that sight, I don't think I could be surprised by anything ever again. Well, I have to catch a Relu. Any idea where I should look for her? I have an idea that maybe we should go back to her old lab where we found where she had the lexicon, the first half of the lexicon waiting for us. I'm curious to see what's actually in the lexicon. That might be part of her plan too. You know, the plan that she doesn't want Nocticula to be in on. Any idea where I should look for her? Not especially. She's been roaming the abyss all this time, but now that avenue's closed to her... let's try that again. But now that avenue's closed to her, Nocticula and the other demon lords are all slavering for a piece of her. I think she's someplace around here in the wound. Some nasty little place like Eyes, or maybe she went as far as Threshold. So, is Dresden under control? Anevia waves her hand in a vague gesture. Generally speaking, yeah. As under control as the city can be when it's got no people in it, and only 2 days ago it was crawling with demons. I don't think you want me to paint you a rosy picture, so I'll tell it like it is. Things still ain't looking that good for us. Supplies are running short, and there are hardly any soldiers left to defend this place. But the city's standing. That's what counts. This war ain't over yet. An entire army of demons enhanced by Nahindrian crystals was being sent here. It's being led by a demon named Mutasafin. Know anything about that? Scouts reported the movements of a large demon army far to the southwest of Dresden. They were marching across a dried-out lake. There used to be a Sarkorian holy place there, I heard, but where they went, nobody knows. They're not headed for us, that's for sure. At least not yet. Alright, I'll be setting off without delay. Commander, go forth boldly. Have no fear, but just make sure you don't get carried away out there. People have already heard stories of you making fools of the demons. Folks are going to come here for sure, so come back as soon as, and together we'll all march against the enemy in the final battle. That is, if they don't change their minds after hearing your speeches. And you're going to help the Queen. Well, Arabeth's with her. I've seen how you protect your own. Protect her as well, please. She's good. She deserves your goodwill. Don't forget. Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay. Apparently we're dealing with pent-up issues that have been building. So I was going to cut some other stuff. I'm probably going to cut the relationship bit regarding Ruchelet and Camellia and all of the other stuff up until now, since it's not particularly relevant to you guys and probably won't be really interesting for you. But this, Lilder Hawkblade is the one I took with me to what's-his-face's mansion, where his family was slaughtered by demons, and then the demons were subsequently slaughtered. I don't know how relevant it's actually going to be, so this may all have been in vain, and we'll end up on the cutting room floor. Maybe not. Commander, the Inquisitor greets you with a bow. I'm sincerely gladdened by your return, and I was delighted to hear of your recent victories. It is a shame that my duty has kept me away from the front line. I would like to take up a place in the ranks of your crusaders, and perhaps I will still have a chance to do so, but before that happens, we must address another issue. I suppose you have already guessed what has brought me here. We parted ways after the discovery we made at Count Arendi's estate. You and I both know that the Count became a conduit for an unknown entity, which I call the Other. I retreated to Nerosian and then went beyond Mendev's borders looking for mentions of such entities and ways to fight them, and now that research has borne fruit. I'm ready to tell you about it. I can only guess that what took him so long was that this is an unprecedented matter that is, well, not necessarily unprecedented, but extremely rare and unusual. And he wanted to be really certain that he had the proper information anyway. So what have you learned about the Other? I must be honest, I still don't know what it is. However, I've managed to find some evidence of similar incidents, individuals who, in a horrible moment in their life, became a gateway for an unknown entity. The most curious part is that all of these cases appear almost sequential. They happen in various corners of Galarian, but no two incidents ever occurred at the same time. This leads me to think that we are dealing with a single entity, one that has been secretly present in our world for a long time, merely changing its gateways on occasion. While I do not know what this entity is, I managed to find something of great value. A Varisian arcanist managed to pick up the trail of the Other and invented a ritual to weaken and bind it. She died under very suspicious circumstances. Her decapitated body was found in her laboratory, but also her head was never found. But her notes survived, including the description of the ritual. I've discussed it with several highly esteemed experts in magic, and I'm inclined to consider this a reliable weapon. We can use the ritual to lure the entity out, bind it, and probably exterminate it, but to do that, I'm going to need your assistance, Commander. So what do we need to do? We must carefully prepare the ritual and then bring Count Arendi to the designated location. The ritual will lure out the Other, weaken its connection with the Count, and bind its essence to our world like an anchor. The last part is especially important. All the evidence indicates that while the gateway is active, the Other can travel freely between the material plane and some unknown space that lies beyond. If we fail to bind the Other with the ritual, it will either escape or, in the worst case scenario, drag us into its realm. Hence, we must lure it out and I suppose, defeat it. There is one more issue. Aside from the fact that we'll have to fight this incredibly powerful and horrifying creature, the Other's suspicion must not be aroused until the very last moment, and this means that the Count must know nothing as well. The best course of action would be to take the Count to the designated location without telling him the reason for the journey. Then we must frighten him and make it appear that his life is in danger. The Other will believe that its gateway is in peril, and then, I hope, it will show up to protect it. The ritual circle will work as a trap, but it's crucial, and I stress this, that we convince the entity that we know nothing of its existence, that it is Darren who is in danger, not the entity itself. Otherwise, there is no knowing what may happen. It'll kill him. It'll kill him, without question. Just turn him into a splatter. And I don't want to give the adversary any chance to outmaneuver us. I'm pretty sure all of these other questions are just additional details, but the evidence and my instincts as an Inquisitor are undeniable. This entity is dark and truly evil. Strange and ominous things begin to happen when it manifests. In particular, I am positive that it is responsible for the magically decapitated corpses, the ones that were found at Heaven's Edge. Yeah, we know about that. He's confident it's pursuing some interest of its own. Alright, I'll help you. Thank you. Now, let's go over the entire operation once more. I am convinced that we must lure out the others somewhere far from Dresden and other populated places to avoid civilian casualties. I've chosen a suitable location within the World Wound. I'll mark it on your map. You must bring the Count there without alerting him to what's about to happen. I assume that another foray into the World Wound will raise his suspicions. I will await you there with the ritual circle completed, but before we reach the crucial moment, you must make the Count and the other believe that the Count is in danger. I suppose the easiest way to do that would be to tell them that you made a deal with the Mendev Inquisition, and the Count will have to face punishment for his crimes, real or imaginary. I'll find a way to intimidate him, but you must play along. We need to provoke the other to come out to protect its gateway. That's when we finish it off once and for all. This case will be my greatest triumph or my greatest failure, but I firmly believe it must be done. Remember my words. The other must be convinced that we are not a threat to the Count, and that we know nothing of its existence. The slightest suspicion could prove fatal for all of us. Until we meet again, Commander, and may the gods be with us. Wait a minute here. We've lost all of our... Oh my god, are you actually kidding me? I've lost all of my Azada powers. All of the spells and abilities that we got from it just gone. Wait. How do I still have optimistics? Wait, what? That's actually kind of stupid. It starts me from absolute zero, but gives me nothing in exchange? Like... Holy crap, is Gold Dragon trash. I can't even transform right now. Did I lose Aivu too? I lost Aivu. Are you actually kidding me? Why is choosing a legendary rank not considered a branch, allowing you to keep everything you got previously, but move in a different direction, so long as that direction isn't, you know, like wildly opposite of the original? Like going from a lich, let's say, to a gold dragon. Okay, I could sort of understand you lose all of your lich powers. What a shame that would be, because lich has some pretty gross stuff, but I get it. But why in the world would it not branch? I was fully willing to accept losing out on the ability to gain any further Azada powers and spells and things like that, but Gold Dragon is... I literally only get 3 levels for it. This is trash. This is absolutely unacceptable. And I have to be really careful because I do have a save further back, but I think it's before we fought the demons near Helor. And after that, it's just like the rest is free, basically. This is not good. I really wanted to go with the Gold Dragon path, and I was okay with not being able to invest in the Azada mythic abilities and everything, but who thought this was a good idea? Worse still, if you branch off, you don't get to make up any of the stuff that they take from you. No, you don't get that. You don't get extra dragon anything for the previous ones, which is really retarded. I don't know who okayed this system, but he should have his legs beaten with a sharp stick. This is not okay. I literally get to make up 3 levels and that's it? No, not even 3 levels, because I don't get to choose. Yeah, I get about 3, maybe. That's absolutely retarded. What were they smoking when they thought this would be a good idea? Great. So now I have to go back and fix that. These are still here for some reason, at least until I save and load the game again, because you know how things like to just move themselves around or outright disappear when you load a game. So let's see. Just to be sure that I'm sure about what I'm sure about. Let's see. Yup, all gone. Along with Aivu, because, you know, that makes sense. So, I'm going to end it here because the video's gone on far too long as it is. And when we come back, you'd better believe we're going to have Aivu again. I've got nothing. This system is retarded. It should not have been designed like that. It just shouldn't. As you saw before, while I was choosing, I could not select Trickster or Lich or any of... I didn't really mouse over them to even try, but I highly doubt that I could have. It doesn't make sense the way they... And you get Gold Dragon so goddamn late in the game, it doesn't even make sense as an option if it's going to take everything else from you that you've gotten up to that point. It's such a poor design decision. I'm frankly sick of seeing them. It's really exhausting and frustrating. Nevertheless, I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves and everything you've seen here, except for the madness with the goddamn Gold Dragon thing, because, you know, we can't have that now, I guess. Regardless, we will be back tomorrow with another episode, so expect to see Aivu again. That's all I've got to say. And so with all that said, we will see you next time.
We